The story of Joseph in the Bible is not just a story of forgiveness, but it's also a story of transformation. Joseph is the favoured brother, the favourite son with his other brother. And the brothers who feel resentful, at some point they sell him into slavery, into Egypt. And eventually, through a whole lot of events, Joseph ends up second in command in Egypt during a famine. So all his brothers have to come down to get food. Joseph recognises them. They don't recognise him. And he instigates through a little course of events, being able to say to all his brothers, I'm going to keep here this brother who's the other favoured brother. Remember, they don't know that this is Joseph speaking. The other favoured brother, the other favourite of my father, I'm going to keep him from you. You go back and tell my father, tell your father, that you've lost the other favourite son. And at that point, one of the brothers throws himself down at the feet of Joseph and says, take me, not this other favourite son. So over the intervening years, that person, that man has learned in the space that was given to repent and learn. He has grown from sacrificing his brother, who he hated, Joseph, to sacrificing himself for the sake of the other favoured brother. And that's when Joseph shows himself to be Joseph. They're completely dismayed, they're scared, they've sold him into slavery, what's going to happen? And he has forgiven them. It's a beautiful story of change from the brothers. In the space that was made, the time that they had, God was working in that space to bring them from resentment and a willingness to sacrifice their brother to their resentment, to a willingness to sacrifice themselves for their brother. And we can think of that space also when we think of when Jesus talks about the forgiving our enemies. Often when we read the hard things that Jesus says like this, like you have to forgive your enemies, we think, oh, I can't do that, that's so hard. Actually, first thing we should remember is it's not actually about us. It's actually about the other person. And Jesus is asking us to give space. That's what forgiveness is. It's space for the other person's transformation. It's what God does for us on the cross. The cross is space for our transformation. God doesn't come as the avenging judge to destroy us, but the willing sacrifice to our anger and hate. And Jesus in his self-offering gives us space to learn what we have done, so that in the grace of the resurrection, we can be sent out as disciples of forgiveness, those who want to talk about God giving us space to change in the way that we ourselves have changed because of the space God has given us. Thanks for joining me.